You're a Detroit Lions fan, it's getting exciting as the Lions are getting a number of players back. They're getting healthy. They've got a win streak, and we got a trip to the Meadowlands in just a few days. It looks like we're going to have a chance to win. You'll find out what I think here by the end of the video in today's Prediction Thursday version of Lions Talk Live. Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you for tuning in to today's version of Lions Talk Live, Prediction Thursday, as we get ready to face the New York Football Giants and their impressive record. But before we get into the predictions, before we get into the breakdowns and all the other good news, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, I'll hope you take about 2.5 seconds out of your day, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and if you really want to have a conversation about some of the video or thoughts you have on the Detroit Lions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments section below. Now let's get on to the rest of today's video. Continuing on with Daniel Jones, we're going to see a quarterback who's mobile, who's got a bit of an arm, and can get out of the pocket. Not quite to the extent that we saw last week with Justin Fields, but you're going to see the New York Football Giants. Their offense is going to be a lot of rollouts when they're not running the ball straight up the middle or out wide with Barkley. They're going to do a lot of play-action rollouts, trying to hit tight ends in the flats, somebody maybe in a deep crosser or out, if you will, down the field. But that's going to be the majority of their offensive setup. It's not great. There's no real explosive receivers. Kenny Galladay barely even plays. I think we all know that we probably did the right thing by letting him go. That being said, the Lions are going to have to stop the run first and foremost to have any success against their offense. If we can do that and not get killed on play action, then I think the Lions defense is in a good position to shine. As I'm sure anybody watching this video knows, the New York Giants have a 7-2 record, and they've scored almost as many points as they've given up all season. In fact, there's only a 14-point difference between the points for and against. So, obviously, the Lions have an opportunity here if we can play well, play good defense, etc., because New York, while they have an awesome record, they just haven't been dominant in any stretch of the imagination this season. They've won a ton of close games. They've played some good defense. Their offense, though, at least in my opinion, is a little suspect. Saquon Barkley is having a resurgent season, getting all over the field, looking like the guy he was his rookie season, and that's a credit to their commitment in New York to running the football, much like that with the Detroit Lions. Daniel Jones has come out this year and played, I'd say fair football. He hasn't been a star. He hasn't been a bust. He's been somewhere in the middle, but he's avoided making costly mistakes that have penalized his team. So while we all can expect New York to be Blitzburg more or less on Goff and the Detroit Lions offense throughout most of Sunday's game, here's what we can say. Goff has not been bad against the blitz, but one stat. He's thrown 4 of his 7 interceptions this season against blitz situations. So if Goff is going to turn the ball over via an interception, it's more than likely going to happen in this situation. Also, all but 1 of his fumbles have been on blitzing plays. So Goff is going to be focal point number 1 for Motor City Dan Campbell and the coaching staff to keep turnovers at bay. If they can stop Goff from fumbling and from throwing picks, the offense should be highly effective because they are going to leave a bunch of man coverage across. And the Lions offense should do well because St. Brown should have a matchup. Basically, anybody he wants to take on or New York's going to put at him, he should be in an advantageous situation to win those matchups. New York's defense, conversely, has made some timely plays. They're, not one of the best in the NFL, but they're probably next level. So if they're not the top, they're the next level down from the top. They've got some playmakers. They've got some strong abilities. They're going to come up, and the one thing that the Lions will be able to do to them, much like we thought they'd be able to do against Chicago, is run the ball. The question's going to be Chicago, who was so bad at stopping the run, had to play a bunch of 8-man front the vast majority of last weekend's game. It's my anticipation New York's going to have to do the same thing, keep 8 guys in the box, maybe even bring 9, if Detroit can run the ball effectively throughout the game. That should open up a lot of play action for Jared Goff. The problem is going to be Nobody in the NFL blitzes more than the New York Football Giants. And I don't mean they just barely blitz more than the next one. It's a wide margin between them and second place. Some good news when we're talking about the Detroit Lions offense is DJ Chark did return to practice this week. I doubt he'll be playing in this weekend's game. My anticipation is there at least a slim chance he can play on Thanksgiving? Absolutely. Will he definitely play after Thanksgiving? If he doesn't return for Thanksgiving, it would be my anticipation we'll see him hit the field in the game after Thanksgiving. Also good news, Romeo Okwara, who's been out for just shy of 14 months with a torn Achilles tendon, did return to practice as well yesterday. It was the news that came out after our video, so I apologize about DJ Chark and Romeo Okwara's news not being reported until today. But both men are going to begin their 21-day recovery windows, and we should see them sooner versus later. Both would add a big, huge step forward in the depth chart for both the offense and defense of the Lions. So Okwara is a pass rusher who's strong, good upper body, can help support against run plays as well. So him and his brother would add a lot of depth to the Detroit Lions pass rush that seems to be on the uptrend. Continuing with the Detroit Lions offense, Josh Reynolds did not practice yesterday. It is hopeful that he will return to practice today and get both Thursday and Friday in before this weekend's game. If he can do that, or at least get one of them, then that would be great news for Goff, who would have yet another weapon available to him. Maybe on a little limited basis or a snap count, but Josh Reynolds, at this point, in my opinion, is our second best wide receiver on the entire team. So, with that being said, breaking down a little bit more of this weekend's game, I think it's going to be a bit of a toss-up. I think all Lions fans should expect a very tight game. Unless one of the teams comes out and has a few turnovers or ungodly penalties, I'm going to go with this. I think the Lions are trending upwards. I think they're gaining confidence momentum, and their younger players are performing in a higher and higher clip. Anybody watching a lot of the rookies on this year's draft class for Detroit has probably noticed a steady increase throughout the season. That being said, it doesn't mean they can't make mistakes. So if you're going to ask me and put me on the spot what the record's going to be after this game, I'm going to pick the Lions to win 24-21. Vegas comes out and gave the Lions off the bat a dog is 3.5 points. So that, to me, means Vegas views both teams as basically the same. They're equal. The home field team is almost always in the NFL given 3 points. So the Vegas and Ultimate is saying that the difference between the Giants and the Lions is really only half a point. The Lions, though, have got momentum right now with their wins. Not that New York doesn't. New York needs the win in the worst way possible to try to stay within a one-game stretch of first-place Philadelphia. The Lions, Green Bay hasn't had their bye yet, but if the Lions could win here and Green Bay incurs in their loss, Lions are actually going to be in second place in their division. And when's the last time we could say that? I'll help you out. It's been 5 years. So, at any rate, you heard my prediction. What do you guys think? What are your predictions? Leave them in the comments section below. You heard my prediction for the score. I'm going to say this. To me, I think the difference in the game is going to be two facets. I think it's actually going to be Detroit's tight ends and their run blocking abilities against New York that are going to pave a big way and dividend for Detroit in this game. The other aspect is I think Detroit's pass rush is slowly improving. I think they'll be able to, especially Hutchinson on the opposite side of Pascal, are going to be able to minimize the running game of Saquon Barkley. We'll see if I stand correct. But when they go play action, I've watched both guys and a couple other guys on the Detroit Lions defense get faked out less and less on the rollouts. They're doing a better job of covering them, which led to, in my opinion, the big pick six in last weekend's game against Chicago. Hutchinson read it, denied the screen to the tight end, forced a lob pass that Okudah was able to pick off. We'll see if it plays out again this weekend, but again, I'm picking Detroit to win by 3. Okay, everybody, well, that will do it for today's video. I want to thank you all for tuning in. See you all tomorrow in another Lions Talk Live. If you have not yet thought about subscribing, please consider doing so and leave a thumbs up. I'll talk to you all tomorrow, and stay safe out in the snowstorm.